The world will not wait for you to get ready. So you better be ahead before it even knocks. Today, your degrees won't save you, but your self-education will make you unstoppable. And guess what? You don't need a classroom, you need fire. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a secret they never taught us in school. The most powerful person in the room is not always the one with the loudest voice. It's the one who learns silently, daily, fiercely. We live in a world where your brain is your biggest asset, and the good news? No one controls how much you can grow, except you. So stop waiting, stop scrolling endlessly. Because today, I'm going to give you 5 ways to educate yourself every single day in a way that doesn't just make you smarter, it makes you dangerously brilliant. Read like your life depends on it, because in many ways it actually does. In a world that is constantly changing, where information is currency and ignorance is the most expensive thing you'll ever carry, your willingness to pick up a book, even when the world says you're too busy, is what will set you apart. Think about it. When was the last time you read something that shook your soul? Not just scrolled, not just skimmed, but actually let words crawl under your skin and wake you up. Most people don't read because they think they don't have time. But the truth is, they don't have urgency. Your life doesn't get better by accident. It gets better by intention. And reading is one of the most intentional things you can do. Let me break this down with something real. Imagine a girl who's just moved to a new city. No friends, no mentors, no family, just a suitcase. Or she could walk into a bookstore or open her Kindle or pull out a crumpled second-hand paperback from a local street vendor, and suddenly, in the silence of the pages, she's not alone anymore. She's with leaders, poets, warriors, inventors. She's with minds that have failed, risen, and transformed. She's with ideas that rewire her own story. Books don't just teach you, they transfer power. Think of a man who works a 9-to-5 job that drains him. He wakes up, snoozes 3 alarms, and spends all day wondering, is this it? But one day, instead of wasting his lunch break scrolling social media, he starts reading about financial literacy, about investing, about how people build businesses. One page becomes a chapter, one chapter becomes a habit, and 6 months later, he's not just surviving, he's building something. He's making moves others only dream of, all because he chose to feed his mind instead of numb it. Reading doesn't require a fancy education. It doesn't care what school you went to or what your GPA was. The most powerful minds in history, many of them were self-taught. They read because they were hungry to learn, to grow, to evolve. Your excuses won't educate you. Your pain will. Your passion will. Your desire to rise will. You don't need permission to be intelligent. You need hunger. Let me tell you something. That 10 minutes you spend complaining about your day, that's 10 pages you could have read that might have changed your day. The 15 minutes you use watching someone else's vacation on Instagram, that's a chapter that could have taught you how to build your dream life. We are not lacking time. We are drowning in distraction. And every book you pick up becomes an escape ladder, a way out of average, a roadmap out of mediocrity. Look at successful people around you, leaders, creators, visionaries. Do you think they accidentally got smart? No. They study relentlessly. Books are their gym. They exercise their mind like warriors train their body. You want a sharp mind? Then train it like your future depends on it. Because it does. There's a woman out there right now who's broke, exhausted, underestimated, and still reading. Still showing up for her mind. Still feeding her soul with stories, strategies, and strength. She's not loud. She's not flashy. But she's building herself word by word. And one day, the world will wonder where she got all that wisdom. But she'll know it was in the pages she read when no one was watching. Knowledge isn't accidental, it's deliberate. And the most powerful version of you is hiding between the lines of a book you haven't opened yet. So read like your life depends on it. Because your next level, your breakthrough, your transformation, it's all waiting. And all you have to do is turn the page. Turn social media into your personal classroom. Because right now, it's either your greatest distraction or your most powerful teacher. You decide. Most people are addicted to social media, but very few are intentional with it. You scroll for hours, laughing at memes, watching someone else's luxury lifestyle, comparing your behind the scenes with their highlight reel. And in the end, you feel more drained, more insecure, more lost. But what if I told you that the same platforms making you feel less than could be used to make you feel limitless? Think of your feed as your mental diet. If you keep feeding your mind gossip, drama, and artificial perfection, don't be surprised when you feel empty. But if you start feeding it ideas, brilliance, and breakthroughs, your mind becomes unstoppable. You are curating your consciousness. Every post you consume is a choice to evolve or to escape. Before bed, she watches one 5-minute video from a spiritual teacher on Instagram. That's her peace. That's her self-education. In the morning, on her way to work, she listens to a motivational reel that reminds her of who she is and what she's capable of. She's not enrolled in any fancy program, but she's learning every single day. And that learning is shaping her mindset, her energy, her future. Even your Instagram reels can be your mentors, if you choose right. That 1-minute wisdom can flip your entire mood, shift your mindset, make you rethink your decisions. It can become the voice you needed to hear when the world was silent. The wisdom is there, the brilliance is there, the guidance is everywhere. You just have to look for it. Stop using social media to escape your life. Start using it to build your life. Search out pages that teach you how to manage your money. Watch short clips from psychologists who explain trauma and healing. Save posts that drop knowledge about relationships, boundaries, purpose. Fill your saved folder with tools, not trash. Watch how fast your mindset shifts. Even TikTok, yes, even that, is filled with geniuses disguised as creators. People giving away $1 million lessons in 60 seconds. You can laugh and learn. You can be entertained and enlightened. But it's on you to shift your intention. You have the world's greatest university in the palm of your hand. It's not about deleting the apps, it's about dominating the feed. Choose who you follow like you choose who you become. Because they are connected. There's a girl right now in a small town with zero access to elite mentors. Psychologists, authors, and philosophers. She's watching their content daily, taking notes, making vision boards, implementing strategies. And while the world thinks she's just scrolling, she's actually studying, grinding in silence, preparing to shock the world. The question is not whether social media is bad. The question is, are you using it or is it using you? Turn your feed into fuel. Turn every swipe into a step forward. Turn your notifications into nudges from your destiny. Because the classroom is open and the syllabus is whatever you seek. Ask questions like a queen, not like someone begging for answers, but like a woman who knows her worth and wants to sharpen her power. Because queens don't stay silent in confusion. They speak up with courage, with clarity, and with the fire to evolve. The smartest woman in the room is rarely the one with all the answers. She's the one asking the right questions. Think about it. In a world where everyone's trying to prove what they know, it takes true strength to admit there's something you don't. Asking questions isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It says, I'm not here to pretend. I'm here to grow. Most people are too busy trying to impress others with their knowledge. But a queen, she impresses by her curiosity. She knows every answer opens a new door. And every door leads to a new dimension of her power. Imagine a young woman in a new job, surrounded by people older, more experienced, more confident. She's intimidated. She wants to look capable, so she stays quiet. Nods even when she's unsure. Smiles through confusion. But one day she decides to shift. She raises her hand in the meeting. Asks, why do we do it this way? What's the goal behind this system? The room pauses. Someone answers. Someone else adds on. A discussion starts. And suddenly, she's not invisible anymore. She's leading the conversation. Because she dared to ask. Asking questions isn't about weakness. It's about owning the moment. You walk into a doctor's office. Don't nod blindly. Ask. Understand your body. Ask why, how, what next. You're in a relationship. Ask what love means to them. Ask how they handle conflict. Ask what they need when they're hurting. Queens don't guess. Queens get clarity. And with clarity comes confidence. Now imagine a high school girl with a big dream. Say she wants to be a filmmaker. But no one around her knows that world. So what does she do? She goes online. DMs directors. Comments on cinematographer posts. Emails creators she admires. How did you start? What camera did you first use? What books? What would you recommend? Most won't reply, but some will. And those few replies, they change her life. Not because she had all the answers, but because she asked. You see, questions are your ladder. They pull you out of shallow thinking. They force others to see you differently. And when you ask like a queen, direct, unapologetic, curious, they respect you more. Because you're not just talking, you're thinking. There's power in not knowing, but there's power multiplied in wanting to know more. Stop pretending to have it all figured out. That's not strength. That's pride in disguise. A true queen is humble enough to say, teach me, show me, help me understand. And when she does, she becomes unstoppable. Because now, she doesn't just move through the world, she understands it. Picture a woman navigating a new city, trying to build a business. She doesn't wait for permission. She asks strangers where the best networking spots are. She asks shop owners how they built their clientele. She asks bankers how to structure her finances. Every question becomes a seed. Every seed, a tree. Let your silence become the reason you stay stuck. Ask like your next move depends on it, because it probably does. Ask in boardrooms. Ask in bookstores. Ask your mentors, your peers, your fears. A queen never fears looking foolish. She fears staying ignorant. And that's what makes her regal. Not her crown, but her courage to question. It's easy to stay quiet. It's comfortable to act like you know. But comfort never made history. Questions did. Curiosity did. A woman who questions her world is a woman who changes it. So open your mouth, raise your hand, challenge the norm, and ask like the throne already belongs to you. Podcast your way to power. Because in a world that's screaming nonsense at full volume, the whisper of wisdom is your weapon. Every podcast you play isn't just noise. It's a new version of you loading. And the most dangerous woman, she's not always the loudest in the room. She's the one listening when no one else is. Think about it. You're in traffic, frustrated, bored, scrolling through the same old playlist. But what if that 20-minute drive could become your classroom? Your gym for the mind. You tap play on a podcast episode. A self-made woman talking about how she turned heartbreak into a business. Her pain became her power. And in that moment, something inside you shifts. Not because you had a plan, but because you heard a possibility. Real queens don't waste time. They weave time. In between workouts, they're learning. While doing dishes, they're growing. When others gossip, they grind. One abud. One voice, one idea. And suddenly your whole mindset is on fire. Because every podcast is not just a story. It's strategy, it's survival, it's soul. Imagine a young girl in a small town, no mentors, no guidance, just her phone and curiosity. She starts with one episode on self-love, then another on financial independence. Then she discovers a series on confidence and boundaries. And as she changes, the world bends with her. You don't need a lecture hall. You need Wi-Fi and hunger. You don't need a fancy coach. You need consistency and curiosity. Stop saying you don't have time to grow. You're on your phone anyway. Just change what you consume. Your playlist can either numb your spirit or ignite your genius. Choose wisely. Let me tell you about a woman rebuilding her life after a toxic relationship. She's broken, unsure, doubting her worth. But one night at 2 a.m., she listens to a podcast from a therapist about healing from emotional trauma. The words hit like lightning. Your pain is not your identity. It's your training ground. She cries, rewinds, listens again. That episode becomes her anchor. Then she listens daily. Day by day, her self-worth returns. Not because someone saved her, but because she plugged into power. Even 5 minutes can recalibrate your whole energy. There are episodes that will teach you to negotiate your salary, to communicate your needs, to walk away from what doesn't honor you. And you can learn it all in the shower, on a walk, in bed before sleep. You don't need more motivation. You need the right messages. And podcasts are messages from the future version of you calling you forward. There's a girl out there who wanted to build a brand but had zero knowledge. No marketing degree, no business school, just ambition. So she downloaded a podcast about branding, then another about storytelling, then sales psychology. She binged episodes like others binged Netflix. 2 years later, she runs her own company. Not because she was special, but because she educated herself in silence, in motion, in moments that others wasted. Podcasts are mentors that never judge, teachers that never sleep, leaders that speak to your soul. They are the mirror you didn't know you needed. And once you hear truth, you can't unhear it. Once you learn your power, you can't unlearn it. That's the beauty of it. One episode can start your revolution. So stop underestimating what 10 minutes of wisdom can do. Because while others wait for the world to teach them, queens go out and find their teacher. And sometimes those teachers speak into a mic and their words become your wings. Teach what you learn. Because the fastest way to master anything is to give it away. Knowledge isn't meant to sit still. It's meant to circulate, to spark minds, to move hearts, to build legacies. Every time you teach, you don't just educate others, you rebuild yourself. Let's get one thing clear. You don't need to be an expert to teach. You just need to be one step ahead. One chapter deeper, one moment braver. Think of it like this. When you learn something powerful and you hold it in, it's like lighting a candle and hiding it under the table. But when you share it, you're setting the whole room on fire with possibility. Imagine a young woman who just discovered the power of journaling. Every morning, she pours her thoughts onto paper, and her anxiety slowly begins to fade. One day, her best friend is crying, overwhelmed by life. And instead of offering pity, she hands her a pen and says, "Try this. It helped me breathe again." That's it. That's teaching. No podium, no lecture, just passing the torch. When you teach what you learn, you solidify your own understanding. It's like telling the universe, I got this. Now I'm ready for the next level. Real queens don't hoard wisdom. They multiply it. And what's wild? The moment you start teaching, people start looking at you differently. They respect your growth. They feel your energy shift. You don't even have to scream it. Your actions become the lesson. Picture a girl who listens to a podcast on emotional intelligence. It blows her mind. For the first time, she realizes why she reacts the way she does. But instead of just sitting with it, she talks to her little sister that night. Hey, when you feel angry, pause and ask what you're really feeling. Is it fear? Is it hurt? Her sister nods. Learn something. 2 lives evolve from one piece of knowledge. That's the power of passing it on. You want to keep growing? Teach what you know. Tell your co-workers about the new productivity hack you just tried. Share that new insight about relationships with your partner. Post that book summary online. Record a video, write a caption, tell a story. You don't need a degree to inspire. You need courage to speak. Remember this. Wisdom isn't wisdom until it's used. And teaching is how you use it. You've probably heard a quote or read a page that changed you. But did you ever tell someone about it? Because when you do, you relive the transformation. You plant a seed. And suddenly, it's not just your life that's shifting. It's everyone connected to you. Even in everyday moments, you can teach. Your friend is struggling with boundaries? Share the sentence that helped you say no. A stranger is stuck in a loop of self-doubt? Give them that one podcast episode that snapped you out of it. Teaching doesn't mean you have it all together. It means you care enough to help someone else get there too. There's this girl, just 19, who started learning about financial freedom. No one in her family ever taught her but who you're becoming. Every night, before you scroll, before you sleep, before you let the day slip away, pause. Ask yourself, what did I learn today? Not what you wore, not what you posted, Not how many likes you got, but what lessons did life hand you? Because life teaches silently, and those who don't reflect miss the most important class of all. Think of a girl working her 9 to 5, coming home drained. She feels stuck, like every day is on repeat. But one night, she starts journaling. Just a few lines. Today I stood up for myself in that meeting. Felt good. The next night, didn't speak when I should have. Why? Bit by bit, she starts to see herself. And in that mirror, she finds her voice. She's not stuck. She's evolving. Quietly, powerfully, through reflection. Real queens don't fear mistakes. They study them. At night, when the world is off, they turn on their wisdom. They ask, what made me proud today? What drained my energy? Who am I becoming? That's not overthinking. That's strategy. You cannot level up if you don't even know what level you're on. Picture this. A woman juggling work, kids, dreams, and doubts. Every night, instead of collapsing into her phone, she takes 10 minutes to check in with her soul. She writes, I snapped at my son today. Why was I so triggered? And just like that, she finds the real reason. Burnout. She realizes what needs to change. That's the gift of reflection. It reveals the truth beneath the noise. You don't need a therapist in the room. You just need to be honest with yourself. Sit with your wins, your wounds, your whispers. And suddenly, your life stops being random. It becomes a blueprint, a design. You begin to make choices with clarity instead of chaos. Let me tell you about a girl who dreamed big but kept self-sabotaging. Every night she journaled, not about what went right, but about what held her back. And the pattern became clear. Every time she got close to success, fear whispered, you're not enough. But now she had proof. She had evidence of the lie. And with that awareness, she shattered it. Not overnight, but every night in her reflections, she reclaimed her story. Even 5 minutes of truth with yourself can reset your destiny. Reflection doesn't require candles, crystals, or perfection. Just honesty, just presence, just the willingness to meet yourself where you are. You can sit in your car, in your bathroom, on your bed. Wherever silence meets sincerity, wisdom shows up. There's a woman who wanted to become a better communicator. She thought reading books and watching TED Talks would help. Did I listen, or did I just wait to speak? Did I speak from love or from ego? That nightly honesty reshaped her entire vibe. She didn't become louder, she began deeper. And people began to lean in when she talked. Because here's the truth. The woman who reflects doesn't need validation. She validates herself. She knows who she is, what she stands for, and where she's headed. Not because the world told her, but because she checked in with herself every single night. And now let's bring it home. The kind of home that doesn't just shelter your mind, but sets your soul on fire. Because this isn't just about educating yourself every day. This is about becoming undeniable. About walking into every room like the universe opened the door for you. About building a mind so sharp, a spirit so loud, and a presence so rare that mediocrity can't even sit next to you. They'll ask you, what's your secret? And you'll smile. Because there isn't one. It's just the work. The small, silent work done every single day. The pages you read while the world was sleeping. The questions you asked when everyone else was pretending to know it all. The podcasts you played while folding laundry. The reflections you wrote down when your heart was breaking. The knowledge you shared even when no one was clapping. That's your secret weapon. Remember, queens aren't born, they're built. And the crown isn't given to the loudest girl in the room. It's given to the one who didn't stop when she had every excuse to quit. The one who educated herself in a world that tried to distract her. The one who used pain as a textbook and failure as a lesson plan. You're not here to blend in. You're not here to shrink. You're here to rise, to evolve, to outgrow the version of you that was content with the bare minimum. You're here to become so informed, so inspired, so awake that you set the standard for everyone around you. And let this hit you deep. The most powerful woman in any room is not the one with the loudest voice, the most followers, or the flashiest lifestyle. It's the woman who knows, who reads when others scroll, who listens when others judge, who questions when others nod blindly, who reflects when others deflect. Knowledge is the new glam. Wisdom is the new flex. Growth is the new gold. You want to shine? Then educate your mind until it glows from the inside out. Want to be unforgettable? Then teach what you know until someone else stands up because of your courage. Want to lead? Then ask the questions that scare others into silence. Want to rise? Then read, listen, reflect, and repeat, like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. People think success is some grand event, but it's not. It's built in whispers, in early mornings, in quiet nights, in consistency when no one's watching. You don't need a crowd, you need commitment. You don't need applause, you need alignment. And once you have that, nothing and no one can stop you. So the next time doubt knocks, answer with discipline. When fear shows up, respond with focus. When the world tries to rush you, slow down and educate yourself. Because that's the foundation they can't shake. That's the crown no one can steal. The world is full of noise. Be the woman who turns the volume down and turns the wisdom up. Be the one who knows herself so deeply, learns so relentlessly, and grows so intentionally that even your silence makes people wonder what masterpiece you're building next. Because here's the truth, the woman who educates herself every day doesn't just survive, she leads. She elevates, she awakens, and one day when the world finally catches up and asks where she got her power from, she'll simply say, I taught myself every day, and I never stopped. So read like your life depends on it. Turn your feet into a university. Ask questions like you were born to lead empires. Plug into podcasts like you're charging your soul. Teach what you learn like you're building a legacy. Reflect like your next chapter depends on tonight's truth. You're not just leveling up, you're becoming unshakable. And queens like that, they don't just change their own lives, they change the world.